Hi guys, welcome back to the Malibash Media Show, the place where we spotlight artists from around the world, giving them a positive place to gain some exposure for their talents and where they have been, their experiences. Today we have two amazing guests in the studio with us. Michael Marks, we've had here before, and we're so honored to have him back with us. He is the writer and director for the upcoming film Disappearance of Deliverance, which we will be talking about soon. And then we also have on here a new guest, new face, but you guys may know him from a recent starring with Justin Bieber and Diana Keaton, which he will be sharing with us very soon. Guys, thank you so much for being on the show. It's just a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Appreciate
having us, Ash. Thank you for having me.
It's so fun to have you back on here, Michael. I feel like we're best buddies.
Yeah.
We're gonna go ahead and
I
talk
share that
about
feeling.
what's that?
I share that feeling.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're very blessed to have these guys with us today, and we're gonna get to learn some more about how they got into film and some of the backstory, and then some of the exciting projects that they have coming up, which is pretty cool. We've got a bunch of really great things to go over. So I think, Michael, we've learned a lot about how you got into the field, and Glenn, we don't know as much, but you guys take your turn and explain to the audience how you guys got into writing, directing, acting, everything that you've done.
Well, I'll let Glenn have the floor since I've been here a couple of times already. So, hey, Glenn, you could go right ahead and chime on in.
Well, thank you, Michael. I appreciate that.
Sure.
I was never an actor, writer, or anything like that. In fact, I used to. There seems to be something here. I used to work in the construction field, digging ditches, and I drifted into acting by mistake. I was in San Francisco. There was an open call for a soccer player. I had played soccer all my life. In fact, I came out of my mother's womb playing the bagpipes and kicking a soccer ball. So it's something I was very good at. There was an open call. It was during the World Cup in Pasadena there in 2004. So I applied for the role and I got it. So that was my first segue into acting. It was just merely financial because it paid a little more in digging ditches. And while I was digging ditches, I noticed there was a plumber there who smoked his cigarette a certain when he lit it with his nail. It was like so cool. It's almost like Marlon Brando in Streetcar, It was amazing. We just naturally did it. So then, lo and behold, there was an open call for a Benson and Hedges national billboard all around America. And there was like thousands of us lined up. And of course, I got in character, leather jacket, had the cigarette behind me and practiced hour after hour to light that cigarette with this nail that I grew and this mat. So it looked ultra cool. So it was raining. And after about 3 hours, I'll get in to see the gal. And she goes, "Do you smoke?" I took the cigarette out of me. I put it in my mouth and went, of course I smoke. And lo and behold, I got the role. So these were my segues into acting purely by mistake. And writing's much the same thing. About 20 years ago, I had a death experience in an automobile. I was doing a play, Arsenic and Old Lace in Hollywood, and I was driving a little rice rocket, a little Honda Civic, and boom, I got hit with a truck. So my soul spiraled out the top of my head in centrifugal force, on, beyond the gravitational pull, and went into the quantum field, which is the field of energy known as God, or whatever you want to call it. It's a field of all-knowing where everything resides. So I was in there, and it was like a giant orgasm. The only thing I can remember is, hey, I don't have any bills to pay. I'm free. So I was up there, but the most bizarre thing happened is I could actually see myself. So I could see myself as a dead person and my soul was living. And then I had, wait a minute, I'm not a human being. I'm a spiritual being having this human experience down here. That's kind of weird. So as soon as I took that awareness in, I spiraled back and anchored through the crown chakra into the heart chakra. And I had this amazing feeling of being connected with everyone. So it was like a very strange, it was like I'd flux threads of light going to my heart to everyone's heart, like I was one with everyone. And it was a very strange feeling. So it took me on a spiritual quest for about 20 years. I went to China, Tibet, India, to meet all these spiritual masters to reconcile what the hell just happened to me, because my ego couldn't wrap its head around this, because you can't know it, you have to be God. You can't know God because it's beyond the ego's conception of time and space. You know, we live in an illusion of 3 dimensions, and time is not linear, it's 4th dimensional. So all this stuff has to come from a knowing perspective, because you can't work it out in your head. So what happened is I went off to Taiwan 3 years ago, actually, to meet the reincarnation of a Buddha called Master Ching Hai. And there were certain precepts. I had to be a vegan. I had to do this, that, the next thing, read all these spiritual texts of wisdom, write essays on them. And I was gradually accepted. So I went over there, got my initiation, and then lo and behold, 2 days later, I started channeling down tested. I was sitting there, and I swear to God, I take no responsibility or anything for tested. My hand was moving. It was channeled through me. And the whole movie is about spiritual liberation for mankind, because we are indeed in the book of Revelation right now. If you study that, you study the prophecies of Nostradamus, all great people, there is a spiritual war going on. And indeed, there is a trilateral commission, there is an Illuminati, there is people that are constructing a false reality for us because they're making us react out of fear. So if you're reacting out of fear, you're stimulating what's called a mammalian brain, which is the flight or fight brain for survival. So most human beings are trying to survive rather than being creative. So it's like they have a virtual headset on. And this headset is leading you to disaster. If you look at the pandemic, big pharma giving out them drugs like candy, the greenhouse effect, the ecological chain breaking, the homelessness. We're indeed in hell. So the tested project is to raise the consciousness of mankind and create a heaven on earth through a paradigm shift, through wisdom, through new actions, thoughts, behaviors, because it is indeed a thought wave universe. He did studies in Washington about, I think, 20 years ago, where he said, let's meditate everyone for at 10 o'clock on this date. And so they all did, and the crime rate dropped 30%. So that tells me that this is the construct of the planet is malleable. We can change our reality by changing thoughts, actions, and behaviors. So my job as an artist, I feel, is to represent truth as I see it and to try and liberate mankind. And that's what the Tested movie is. And it's the only movie in history backed up by a peace movement, which means I'm trying to galvanize the world, all genders, all countries, all nationalities, a rainbow coalition of people to move forward in unity and eradicate the subject-object consciousness and make us one. So that's the purpose of the Tested project, and that's how I drifted into writing. And it seems like it's been a preordained destiny. I feel in my soul contract upon entry in here that I decided I'm getting out. I'm only going to visit this planet and leave. I know it might sound a little strange, but the universe is actually our home. This is a 3rd-dimensional prison. I call it a floating zoo. And we are more or less talking animals trapped in this floating zoo. So my intention is to get us out of this situation. And so love conquers hate and right conquers might.
That's amazing. I appreciate the in-depth, experiences that you have just shared with us, because that's a huge learning for everybody here. And I think it's just a really great experience and spin on this as well. So thank you for sharing that a lot. I appreciate that, Glenn.
Very
Michael,
welcome.
go ahead and share with us how you got into the field as well.
Well, the VHS again, the VHS Panasonic camcorder my mother bought for me in 10th grade. I picked it up and I would record. My friends and I would do crazy things, make music videos and stuff like that, and prank each other and prank different people and laugh at, go back and watch the footage. And I just became intrigued that way. I would record my sister. My sister was, as I said, was a theater major, a drama major in college, and she had these. She would do these comedy shows. These comedies. They would be these kind of skits, these ensemble skits and stuff. And so I would record her these skits, these plays, I should say, and I would actually I began to sell them. I began to make a little money and sell them, and so I would sit with her and her castmates and stuff like that, and it was just like I said, I was intrigued by the reactions. I love the reactions of the people watching themselves. Usually, it was laughter, almost laughter, because we dealt with comedy, and so you see these people doubling over and laughing at themselves and laughing at each other, and it was just it's like wow, I really dig this. I dig this, and so that's how I initially wanted to know more about the medium of film and stuff. That was picking up that VHS Panasonic camcorder. You know, Mm. That was in the 10th grade, high school, Atlanta, Georgia, Westlake High School.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
The good cameras back in the day.
yeah, yeah. Big old camera too. That thing was huge, and the tapes were huge too.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
So
remember those VHS
yeah,
tapes. Oh my
yeah.
gosh. Yeah, that was
Uh-huh.
a time.
Yes. Uh-huh.
I love it. It's great to have those like memories of, how you got started and everything as well. So appreciate you guys for sharing, your experiences and your background and everything, because that helps to give some context as to
All
your
right.
next, like your films and what's coming up. So I really appreciate you guys sharing that.
Sure.
And then Glenn, you talked a little bit about your tester film that you have created and you're starring in. Let's learn some more about that. Like, tell us more about. I know you gave a little bit of the inspiration behind it, but go into a little bit more detail. And I'm going to play it just quietly in the background so people can kind of see a little bit of the sneak peeks because it's a really cool film. It's definitely very inspiring and jaw-dropping as well. So you guys should definitely check it out and support Glenn there as well. So I'm going to pop this up here. But Glenn, take it away. Tell us all about this, your film Tested.
Well, tested is a reframing word. That's why I chose it, because to know that you're being tested is to know you can be free because you can pass a test.
Yeah.
So it starts in the school system where the kids are tested, but the answers are wrong. So they're already given a matrix of constriction the moment you come out of school. So if you're tested, you can pass the test. So the movie explains that in time and space, it's a representation of every archetype. I chose these archetypes based on the Jungian philosophy. So everyone will get a cathartic hit upon seeing this. And being an enlightened minister, I hate to say it, preach, but I can share my wisdom. One of the things that he says is when you're born, you don't get a birth certificate, you get a slave certificate. Now you have to penetrate that deeply to know why there's a 1%, there's a dichotomy between subject and object. These type of things that I can integrate into the human psyche subliminally, because when you're in the alpha state, they're going to watch it, they're going to get a hit. The character also wants to create what's called a unification summit, where it's very simple. You're the Son and the Father's your awareness. We are all God, but people don't know that. And so the dichotomy of religion, of race, of gender creates conflict. Divide and conquer, as the devil will tell you. So this movie is written with that intention to wake people up. When you hear me on the trailer saying the devil will tell you what you see is real and what you hear is real, and that is an illusion, that's verbatim there. Well, that's the illusion of the media, the media hypnotism, what you've been told to believe, what drugs you've been told to take, what food you've been told to eat, all that is collectively the access of evil. So I'm showing that in time and space in the hope that people will indeed transcend their limitations and say, wait a minute, I didn't sign up for this. I'm a divine being, and they're saying I'm worthless. So this movie is to give people back their dignity, their decency, and know that they're special. And all profits for this movie go to the homeless. It's called the Ratcliffe Foundation, which I've drawn up. I will buy 3-story buildings in every city. The first one will be intake. The second will be re-education. The third will be job placement. So my job here, I feel as an artist, to give back is to get the homeless off the street, give them back their dignity, and create a heaven on earth. And that can be done because it's just a shift of perception, a reframing of reality. And that's the purpose of the inspiration and Tested. It's a roller coaster adventure, but in time and space, you're going to get hits of, like, I believe in veganism, for example. That's in there when I have an argument with my daughters who eat meat. The racial tensions, the drugs, the corruption of authority figures, all that is in there so that people can see translucently obvious how they've been manipulated. And you can't get out of a trap if you don't know you're in one. So I feel as an artist, I can take the blindfold on and say, look, you're really a special person. God is in your heart, just like everyone else. You don't need to look outside. It's in here. The Father within does the works, and the Father is your awareness of being, and you're that son. So you've already got a direct connection to God. And so through education, I'm hoping to help the planet, because like Einstein said, when your mind has been stretched to a certain level, it can't go back, because now you know better. So that's the purpose of Tested and the inspiration behind it.
That's awesome. I love how you said too, you can't get out of a pit unless you know that you're in one. And I think what you're trying to, what you're doing with your experience and everything that you have been through and sharing that with so many people underneath you, I think that's absolutely amazing. And it comes from a position of authority too, where you've experienced this and you also are passing that along to others. And that's a really amazing message. So I really thank you for sharing that. That's fantastic. And I also wanted to ask you too about, one of your most recent starrings that you got to be in. It's a music film that's received over 100 million views, starring Bieber and Diana Keaton. Definitely share with us that experience, and I'll pop up a little bit of that as well while you share.
That was a very, very gracious experience. The funny thing about that, I was getting calls from his casting company. Can you do this? Can you do this? You're the granddad. And I said, what? And they said, it's some band in Australia, I guess because they didn't want a huge to do about who was in it. I said, okay. And I get the call sheet and I'm right at the top and there's everyone else is below me. And I'm going, that's strange. So I'm sitting in the makeup chair, and 1 hour before, the gal goes, do you know who you're working with? I said, no. Oh, Diane Keaton and Justin Bieber. I said, really? So off I went. I was escorted up to this big mansion in Los Feliz. And I've studied improv acting for years. So the guy goes, look, Glenn, you're going to have to cry at the birthday party. You need time. I said, yeah, give me 10 seconds. I can do that. So that was good. So they were very, very confident in me. Justin and I got on like a house on fire. He played street hockey. In Canada. I played street soccer, and he went to Glasgow, and we really got along really well. And Diane Keaton was such a sweetheart. She said, she's trying to sell me a bottle of wine, and she's got Keaton's wine, and she goes, oh, you're Scottish. I love Scotsmen. And that picture there you've seen where I'm in the middle. Originally, I was at the side, and because of Diane Keaton's generosity, she goes, hey, it's the granddad's birthday. Put him in the middle. And so that's the scene where I improv kissing them, both sides. And that picture, when it was released finally, that was on the Today Show the Tonight Show, Diane Keaton and Justin Bieber are together again. But I was in the middle, hugging there. I was hugging the whole thing. That was me. It was in the Huffington Post. It was in magazines all over the world, Indonesia, what have you. And that was because of the generosity and the kindness of Diane Keaton. So I was really, really enamored and very humbled by these great talents that allowed me to be in their video. It was such a humbling experience, and they're really, really lovely people, and I love them both.
That's amazing. That's such an opportunity, and it's funny that you didn't even know what it was before you got into it. So that's even great. I mean, that makes it even more exciting. But yes, what a fun time. Definitely some amazing memories there to cherish forever, and it'll also help you, push. I love how you're using this to kind of push tester and everything with your vision and your goal for your mission. I think that's a really smart and fantastic idea. Which brings us to the next question here. You're going to be starring in Michael Mark's film, which is so exciting. I love Disappearance of Deliverance, and I can't wait to show you guys the piece of that. Once we're able to get that out, I'll definitely share it and all that good stuff. But Michael has created and written this amazing work of art, and you're going to be starring in it as a villain husband, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Which is so awesome. That sounds like so much fun. And Michael, tell us a little bit about what your writing of Disappearance of Deliverance, and how excited you are about Glenn being in it, and how did you guys meet exactly?
How did we meet? You said.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think I went through Actors Access to get
Okay.
my actors. I don't recall, but there are different, ways of going on these websites, and you set up your project, and the actors start submitting their, headshots and resumes and stuff like that. I don't recall the exact, but I think it might have been Actors Access. But yeah, the Glenn's a wonderful actor, a really, really, really brilliant actor, and I'm really excited. He plays the role of Cole Upshaw, and that is, as you said, a villain. He's a part of a villainous duo,
Mm-hmm.
along with Samantha Upshaw,
I love
and
her.
they're
She's
the
really
couple. Yeah, they're the ones that actually kidnap the protagonist, the lead actor, the lead character. They kidnap the two kids from them, from Aspen and his wife Miwa. So uh, they concoct this crazy plan in which they do kidnap them, and they take them up into the forest of California, the hills, far away in the wilderness, and they stay held up, and they try to evade these cops and evade the law. That's essentially their role. And yeah, what I like the relationship between Samantha and Cole. It's usually it's the man that's taking control, and and the mastermind behind things like that. But in this case, it's Samantha. She's the type A, what would I say, alpha in the relationship. But yeah, Cole's character is interesting in that is I think, I mean, he can talk more about it, but I think he's kind of has this kind of cunning to him as well. He's may seem come across as kind of a weakling, but he's that's why I like his character role, because there's a strength about him. There's this kind of cockiness, I think, about him that makes his character interesting. His role, the character role, interesting. But yeah, they I've seen them both do a table read for the role, and they lit it up. They did a really fantastic job. And as I said, my producer Stacy Alfonso, she was just she was just super impressed with Cole and with Glenn and Kelly DeSarla. She's the one that plays Samantha's role. Samantha Upshaw, and Glenn Ratcliffe plays the role of Cole Upshaw. So she was yeah, she was just really um, just blown away by their acting abilities. You know, and not just them, but the entire principal cast. You know, so I'm excited. I really am excited about it. I just can't wait to see what these wonderful talents are going to do. I believe they're going to give us all magic. You know, I truly do.
Yeah, I definitely I believe so. I'm really pulling for this movie. I think it just really needs to be created, and I know you guys have a fantastic cast. I'm glad I'm so excited that you're part of it. And um, Glenn, tell me a little bit about your part in this, and how do you feel about your part?
Well, first of all, Cole Upshaw is brilliantly written. There's no doubt about it. In fact, the whole screenplay is brilliantly written. But for me, going into Cole Upshaw, I loved it for the simple fact, as an advocate of dichotomy, here you have an immigration attorney, right? A trust fund baby, never worked a day in his life, so he's kind of spoiled. So that represents that genre, which I want to show in time and space anyway. However, he becomes a bully when he denies immigrants visas. That's where he gets his self esteem from. So that is a neurotic tendency that is laced through humanity. So I understand that. At its core, though, this is a guy, he could easily be a victim. His wife, I've made her a Hitler personality, that because I've studied Enneagram personality types. She's small, dumpy, and tough and stuff. So he will reflect that because he needs to validate the fact that he has a bit of a victim in him. So she kind of kicks him around a little bit, but that aggression is always building. It's if you don't release it. So, like Michael said, there's a kind of it's a great role because it requires multi-level acting. It requires something in the surface and an opposite inside. So if it's done correctly, it should be translucently obvious for the audience, so they should see into my soul, an intelligent, bullied by the wife, but a mastermind, but also dangerous, which I love because he rapes a lady up there without giving the plot away, and he uses firearms. So for me, this character is like sent from heaven. I can draw upon all my spiritual wisdom of character, understanding of the human condition, the intelligence of being a lawyer, the feeling of being rich but yet worthlessness. So there's so much richness to mine from that character because Michael did a brilliant job in this writing, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I'm just so proud and honored to delve into the soul of Cole.
Well, thank you, Glenn. I appreciate that.
That's amazing. That's yeah, very very well explained. I think that's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yes.
You got a great cast, Michael, and I'm just really excited about you guys all like pulling together for this movie and everything. How can the audience, what does it take to get this film started? Obviously, it takes funds, right?
Yeah.
And then you have a cast, and you need a crew and everything. But how can people support you, Michael? Like, how can we help you with this film, getting it off the ground?
Yeah, well, any bit helps, $5 if you have five, you have 10. But yeah, I have a GoFundMe page that interested people can go to make donations, and I'm on Facebook. I have a Facebook page. I have Instagram. What else? I think that's the extent of it right now. But the GoFundMe page, that's where I get most of my donations. But yeah, yeah, people, individuals, companies. I mean, money. That's the engine. Get the financing, and we can take off. And I have faith that's forthcoming. I think as long as we stay excited about it, as long as we stay as Glenn, I didn't realize was such a man of such spiritual richness and faith, and because I'm that way myself. I pray and meditate, quite regularly and stuff like that, and that helps. I believe, do believe in the law of attraction as well. So I believe what you focus on and what you think about, you tend to manifest. So
Mhm.
uh, and I meditate and I pray on this project, and that these actors can get on and work and get paid, and we all get paid, and we all come together and collectively create a brilliant story to share with the world. That's what I'm hoping. That's what I believe. I believe in my heart that's it's going to happen too.
I believe so, and it sounds like Glenn, you both are channeling some really amazing, Godspeed and everything that way. So I think that that's really going to be an answer to prayer really soon, for you guys to get this going and get it started. And I can't wait to see it. I'm gonna be there at the premiere one day, so I'm very excited about that. But guys, definitely reach out to Michael and see if you can help him in any possible way with the film. $5 goes a long way, believe it or not. So find him on GoFundMe and see if you guys can help get this jumpstart, because it's really an awesome film. It's Glenn was able to give a little bit of a sneak peek, and so is Michael as well. It's something that you haven't seen before, and it's just very different, unique. It adds the diversity in there. The woman's a villainess. She's got her wingman as Glenn. I mean, it's gonna be a really fun film. So super excited to get this, supported. So definitely reach out, see what you can do to help. And Glenn, what can we do for your tested film?
Oh, thank you for that. Well, I have a fundraiser. I just signed a deal with Peacock Pictures in London. They're pitching it. And I've got some interest in Indian Bollywood, you know.
Oh,
So that there's people interested, but to help me, it's like Michael said, I have a family and friends tax deductible PayPal link that I think I sent you in the interview. So, like I say, if I can get 1 million people to give me $1, there's $1 million. So please, the intention of this movie is to spiritually liberate the world and bring us to peace. It's not for me. My profits are going to feed people. So anything you can do by sharing my vision, by passing on my fundraiser, my PayPal request, anything like that would be much appreciated.
I'll post that link as well, so you guys can find that and support both of these guys. I mean, they're doing amazing work, and it's everybody needs a leg up, and they put in so much work for this. They deserve it. So, Michael, Glenn, it's been such an honor to have you guys. Thank you so much for your amazing experience and leading me through so many of your wonderful times of the past. And thank you so much for being on the show, taking the time. Is there any last words that you'd like to share with the team or the world before we jump off here?
um, let Glenn have the floor once again.
Well, I'd just like to say thank you to both of you guys. I love you both. I appreciate the opportunity to talk and the show, and I appreciate the opportunity to be part of Michael's movie and play Cole. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Glenn.
Yeah, and
Awesome.
I'll say thank you, Ashley, for having me on the show. And Glenn, thank you for being a part of the project, the cast. And I'm just blessed and to live in this day, in this space, in this time, in this period on earth. And I just want to, I guess I would just say I really want to reach my um, full potential. That's a driving force for me. I really mean that too. I really, there's something in me just says, what if I just really give it my all and just really push myself as hard as I can? What can I what can I do with my life? And I want that to be reflected in my storytelling, and not just in storytelling in the industry, in the movie industry, but all outside of the entertainment industry too. I just want to do right, do the best I can, help as many people as I can, and just live a full, blessed life. I think that's what generally we all want. So that's
I
what I
love
would
that.
say. Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. You're such a blessing, and best of luck. I'm gonna see if I can link. Well, Michael, once we get that video, I'll see if I can link all of the videos on our Malibash website, so you guys can go there and see the sneak peek sizzle reel of Tester. You'll get to see Disappearance of Deliverance, and kind of find out how to support the show that way, guys. So definitely support these guys. Reach out, and thanks so much. We'll see you back here next time on Malibash Media Show.